What message would I give to anyone who's starting up a business? Well, the first message is always be, are you focused enough? I think that's the key thing. As with any business, it's always about a long-term plan. There is no business that comes, like a short type thing that, gets you a lot of money and then you bugger off out there. You got to plan for the long term, and that involves focusing. So that's what I would say to most people. Are you focused enough to take your idea from the embryonic stage onto making millions? What stood me apart from other contestants in Dragons Den was because of precisely I believed what I was trying to sell. Even though I made some mistakes along the way, which I got to say was planned. But I think the main thing is that there was belief in my eyes, and I had conviction about what I was doing. The other point is that my USP, my unique selling point, was the fact that he was a guy for the first time that wanted to merge music and food together. There's many sauces in the high street stores. My reggae sauce is not the first barbecue sauce that was to come along and say that it's a secret family recipes. There's many of those, but it was the first time that that he was a man that was trying to say actually music and food can be merged together, and it was all about the personality of the man, not about the sauce. But it was a good thing the sauce was a bloody good one as well. If Richard and Peter hadn't invested in me, I still think that I would have been as fabulous as I am right now. I really believe that, and this is why I went on the Dragons Den. I never knew of the program before I went on. I must have been the only person that's ever gone on to Dragons Den that never saw the show, never even heard of it. And I think it was because of my focus and my belief that I knew that I was onto a winner, because I'd been doing the sauce for about 15 years at the carnival. And if you're telling somebody that you've been selling something, at a success for 15 years, then that's got to be great marketing. So I really believe that, I could outsell Heinz Tomato Ketchup, and I could go on and sell millions and millions of gallons, and I've actually done that. The most difficult part of setting up my business was still trying to keep my family intact after everything to do with the Dragons Den and waking up the next morning and being one of the most famous black men on the planet type thing. The hardest thing was to keep the family focused to how we were in the beginning when we were still selling it out of a brown bag on my shoulder in Brixton Market and shouting, reggae sauce. And with all the cameras and everything that happened with Dragons Den, it was great to see that even now we're still doing it as a family, and we're still together. So my fears were kind of allayed once the family just saw that we got to stick together, because this is what it's about. It's about being together as a family. How do I stay focused and motivated? Money, because the business is making money. And I think for anyone that goes out there to start a business, you got to make sure that you have a business plan that will say, I'm going to make money at the end of the day, because that's what's going to keep you going. Like in any race, including the 100 meters, they will tell you the outset, the start of the race is always the most difficult part. Because if you can get over that, then you can sort of win the race out without no problems. And we got over the initial part by making sure that the source was making money for us. So that helps to keep us focused, because the business is a success. And at the end of the day, that is what any businessman is looking for, to have a successful business. Well, in 5 years' time, for me, the main aim at the moment is trying to extend the brand. You know, it's not about leaving outside of the UK. We're still a UK business, you know, even as fabulous as how it is. But the main thing is trying to extend the brand and to keep the integrity of what the Levi Roots brand is about. And that's the most difficult thing. It's easy to pick yourself up and say, oh, we want to get to America and sell in 52 states. But you know, the most difficult thing to do is to keep focus on the dream ahead. And it was always a 5-year plan to build the brand here in the UK, and only then we will move on with it. So at the moment, we're still very comfortable here in the UK, trying to build the brand into a strong brand as the market leader in Caribbean food. I think being inspired is very important for entrepreneurs and budding entrepreneurs, because you know, anything to do with networking when you're a business person or you're a potential business person, where you can meet, greet and talk to other like-minded people, is a valuable one. I say that because I started off by going to food exhibitions with my sauce. Wherever there was a food exhibitions, there'd be Levi with his guitar singing his song. And it's the same thing with, you know, with like Be Inspired, where we are at right now. It's just so many like-minded people you can feed off and you can get, you know, information from, and seek mentors, because I always say that mentoring is one of the key things in business, and mentoring is all about meeting somebody else that knows much more than you. And some places, events like this, like Be Inspired, there's always somebody that knows a little more than you that you can feed off and hopefully get some information that will take your business to the very top.